Hi, it's Lynette here, and I have been scribbling in my notepad. You're going to say, what you've been scribbling in your notepad for? Well, if you notice the title of this video is my April favourites. I didn't just want to come on and talk about makeup because I think that can be quite boring. But if there's anything that I've tried and I enjoy or watch or read, then I thought I'll come on and recommend them. So there's a lot of programmes that are on this list that I'm not sure that you would get anywhere else than outside Britain. However, I will still talk about them because I really did enjoy them. So the first thing, so I put here TV, film, Netflix, food, makeup, etc. And that is literally what the list is. So I read a book called Lies by T.M. Logan, and it was really quite an interesting book. I really do like the author. It's about there's a guy called Joe who has an altercation with a family friend, and from there on in his life starts to fall apart, and Ben, who's the family friend, starts to frame him for his murder. But when you're watching this, when you're reading it, not watching it, when you're reading it, there's so many kind of different twists and turns, and I hate to kind of spoil do spoilers, but it's definitely a book that I enjoyed. It was really easy to read, just something that you could take to bed or read on the bus or whatever suits you. I download it on my Kobo, which is just an e-reader like a Kindle, but I can get my library app on the Kobo and I can't get it on the Kindle, which is why I have a Kobo. The next book was also something I went on to watch on Netflix, so that was called Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. Now this is about Louise, who's a single and meets a man in a bar, and that's where it all starts to go wrong, doesn't it always? It says when she turns up at work, he turns out to be her boss, and there's a really cringy moment in the film. She bumps into him and his wife and they share a secret friendship. So the wife bumps into her when she's on the way to school, and she says, oh, you know, they get to talking, and she says, look, could you not tell my husband, you know, he can be funny with me having friends with people that he works with. And so Louise develops a strange relationship with the wife, which is all I could call it, but she continues to have the affair with the husband. Yeah, and you know, when he finds out, he completely backs off and tells her to back away. You know, there's a lot of problems in their marriage, and it turns kind of supernatural, and it talks about her time when she had a breakdown after her parents died, and you're left wondering, you know, was it her, was it her husband, because he was around then. There's this young guy that she meets in the place that she's in. It's a bit unbelievable at bits, but suspend your judgment, and the ending is really brilliant. So this was also on Netflix as well, so I think when I read it, it said, you know, now also on Netflix, which is the only reason I knew it was there. So I'd said to Steve, do you fancy watching it? It's about 6 episodes, and I had to watch it. But what was brilliant, so when you watch a film that's made from a book, they miss out so much, right? Even in 6 episodes, they don't get all the detail. However, for this one, it was almost in a lot of places word by word. It was really good, but you know, Steve was kind of trying to guess the twists and turns all the way through, and I was like, I'm not telling you, I'm not giving it away. So really enjoyed that. It was a British, I think. I'm sure it's British, yeah. Really enjoyed that. Actually, what's funny is in the book, the guy that she meets talks about a housing scheme, and I thought, oh, that's really funny. That's where I'm from, housing scheme in Edinburgh, and actually, when he talks about it a little bit further, it's definitely a housing scheme in Edinburgh that I'm from. So I thought, oh, that's how funny to see it written down in a book. But in the film, he's from a housing scheme in Glasgow. And neither of the actors, I don't think, were Scottish. I don't think the two guys were Scottish, but they did well in their Scottish accents anyway. That was really enjoyable. I did enjoy that. 6 episodes went in really quickly. Although there was a little bit of kind of supernatural part to it. It wasn't, well, it probably was a bit silly, but it was enjoyable. So this is a film that Steve recommended. It was on Netflix. Well, he didn't recommend it. He said to me, do you fancy watching it? It's Melissa McCarthy, and I usually find anything, most things that she's in, I tend to enjoy. So this was called The Kitchen, and it was filmed in around about 2019. So it's about 3 Irish mobsters who are arrested during a bank robbery, and their wives take over their business. It's not plain sailing. It's really quite gritty actually. It's quite violent in bits. So if you're not keen on violence or guns, don't watch it. But when the husbands get released from prison, that's when things start to go really wrong for them. It wasn't the usual kind of laugh-a-minute Melissa McCarthy film, but she did play a really strong woman in it, and a really likeable character. I think there was a, I can't remember what the blonde woman's name, but Tiffany Haddish, is that right, was in it? And actually, the police officer's her husband in real life, the FBI guy, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, it's set in 1970s Hell's Kitchen, so there is a lot of violence, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot, not a lot, I mean I live with boys, we watch gory films all the time, but it's not too bad. But if it's not your bag, guns and shooting and blood, don't watch it. But if you don't mind a wee bit of that, it's not too gratuitous, but it's enough if you're a bit squeamish. So this was an ITV series that I'm going to talk about now. So this was TV, and it was Jed Mercurio who did the Line of Duty. So this was called Trigger Point, and Vicky McClure was in that as well. She's brilliant in this. She played a member of the Metropolitan Police Force Bomb Disposal Unit. She was their expert, and it looked at counter-terrorism. It was gritty. It wasn't quite edge of the seat stuff, but it was really, really watchable. I think there was about 4 or 5 episodes of that. Steve and I watched it on a kind of rainy Sunday. Really did enjoy it. You got to know the characters. I mean, the cast was, it was cast really, really well, but you know, it gets a bit, at the end you're kind of thinking, right, is this quite believable? But it was good to sit and watch actually. I really did enjoy it. It was gritty. People are blown up. You know, it's not sit and watch with your family stuff, I don't think. So yeah, again, if you're not into violence and things being blown up, neither am I, but I can watch it, but don't watch that. And the next one I watched was Sheridan Smith. She's been in everything recently. This was called The Teacher. She's a brilliant British actress. I think I first saw her in The Royal Family. She was really good. She was Anthony's girlfriend, the vegetarian. It was really funny. She plays a school teacher whose life is a huge mess. It's so chaotic, and she's accused of sleeping with a pupil that she met in a nightclub, and the problem is she can't remember it. She can't remember what happened or if she actually did sleep with him. So it's about, you know, how she deals with that, the fallout, and you know, there are a few twists and turns in it. So it was good. She does play a character that is a real mess though, but you know, and the pickle that she gets herself into, but it was good. I kept it on record and sat down and watched it. So Steve's been off for about 4 weeks, so I'm not having to wait for him to get in. Once I'd finished work, we'd maybe put it on, or like Saturday or Sunday, because he'd been off. You know, it was quite nice just to sit down and watch something together. So we've done a lot of that this month. No Return, it's another drama with Sheridan Smith was in it, but she plays the mother of a young boy who's arrested in Turkey for sexually assaulting another boy. It doesn't go into the sexual assault or anything. It talks about, it shows you a bit about how it's come about, and it deals with the foreign court system and justice, and actually, you know, there's even a point where you think, oh, he's going to get freed because the other boy kind of changes his statement, but they still kind of pursue this young boy. He's 15. No, he's 16 and the other boy's 15, which is the issue. Even if it was kind of consensual, the boy's age, there's 2 weeks between them, but one's 16 and one's 15. So she plays the mother in that, and she's a really strong character. It was really good. So yeah, a couple of Sheridan Smith ones this month on ITV, I think they were. So I've only got one item of food I wanted to talk about. And that's probably because I've just been kind of eating the same thing constantly, but these are the Muller Bliss Corners, and in my notes I've just put num num. The salted caramel yogurt is absolutely amazing. So it's a Greek type yogurt with the salted caramel and biscuit, and you just tip it over. It is so nice. Highly recommend that. And the next item that I've really been loving using is my makeup, and it is the NYX Lid Lingerie. Really been enjoying using that. I need to actually swap on to use another product, but I'll do that soon. So next time I might actually bring the product along, but Brandon ate the yogurt that I had saved to show you. That's life, isn't it? So yeah, let me know, have you watched any of those things that I have mentioned below, or read any of those books? I read loads of books, so sometimes what I need to do is to go and remind myself what it's about, and actually without spoiling it. So you're kind of like, there's lots of twists and turns, so you don't want to give away anything that somebody might not have read yet. So yep, this is what I've been enjoying in my favourites. Yep, I just want to move away from kind of constantly talking about makeup and skincare. So that's why there's only one makeup item. Yeah, so I'm going to be changing things up a little bit, doing some different things on the channel, doing some, you know, making things, recipes, kind of a little bit of crafting, just kind of changing things up a little bit, just to kind of stop myself from buying things all the time. But I must show you my vintage haul. It's kind of fair stacking up, but it's still within the rules of my own low buy. So anyway guys, I'm going to go, but I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.